Hello, audience, and welcome to our panel discussion, where our panelists will be giving their thoughts on the opportunities and the role of angel investment now and well into the future. So, a quick introduction to myself. I'm Jermaine Craig. Hello, panel. And I founded a nonprofit startup called Kwanda, which models a decentralized approach to investing in social entrepreneurs in Africa. And as someone who myself has created this alternate vehicle for investing in ambitious people, I'm really excited to be talking to our three panelists who are also democratizing and carving out inroads to angel investing. So let's start with introductions. We'll start with Chinwe. If you could please take a minute to introduce yourself and the work you're doing to grow the angel investment ecosystem.
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. Hi, I'm really excited to be here. My name is Chinwe, Ajene-Sagna, and I'm working with a group called Rising Tide Africa. I sit as a member of the executive committee and head the education committee. So Rising Tide is a group of female-led angel investors, and we are targeting or are focused on investing in female-led founders or female-founded or leadership. Or female leaders in the startups. And our whole purpose, our ethos is to be able to encourage investors or female investors to receive funding. And we do that through 4 different pillars that we support at Rising Tide, one of them being networking, the second is education, the third being investments, and the fourth being partnership. Because the purpose is we realized one is to be able to identify the investors, the female-led founders, but also to give them what they require in terms of a solid ecosystem and partnership support, mentoring, and accessibility to the market to ensure their success. So that's Rising Tide, RTA.
Great to hear from you, and great to have you. Let's go with Alexandra next.
Thank you so much for having me, and good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here and part of the Nigerian Tech Summit. I am one of the lead facilitators and I suppose co-founders of the African Angel Academy. The African Angel Academy is the first online angel academy for angels across the continent, and it is delivered by African angels. I myself am an angel investor with Dazzle Angels, and I'm very proud to have we've worked with over 300 angels from 10 different countries since we launched in mid-2020. And we've been fortunate enough to work very closely with Rising Tides Africa and many of the other angel groups across the continent and beyond as well, because there are many diaspora who are very interested in investing in the continent. And the Angel Academy is a series of online modules. So we've got a whole range of content, and that's then supplemented with masterclasses, Q&A sessions, startup showcases, mentorship for new angel groups. So really trying to build the ecosystem, get angels to connect with one another and get them investing.
Thank you. It's amazing to know we have all of these brains contributing to this ecosystem. Let's finish the introductions with yourself, Joe.
Thanks, Jermaine. My name is Joe Kinvi, and I am one of the community managers of an investment club called HoaQ. And what we do is we're a community of creators and professionals who are backing early stage entrepreneurs that are building for Africa or the diaspora. We've been around since April 2020, and we write small checks into super early stage startups. We have members across the globe in just over 25 countries, and I think at the end of this quarter, we would have invested about $2 million into about 70 startups. So that's us. And yeah, we have quite a large community spread around globally. And again, 2 things that we really care about is access, access into deals for people who want to become angel investors or people who already are angel investors but want to have access to deals. And then the other thing is enablement. How do we enable the next generation of angel investors on the continent and the diaspora?
Thank you, Joe. Very exciting. I've definitely seen HoaQ Club around. And so, yeah, I think there's a temptation to want to kind of join HoaQ Club and jump into angel investment, but there seems to be a key piece here around education, which I'd like to talk about first. So, Chinwe, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the importance of educating the next generation of investors, and how that will drive towards a better overall ecosystem.
No, thank you very much for that. No, it's something that we really take seriously at Rising Tide, and I'm happy to see Africa Angel Academy, because we do work quite closely with AA, and a number of Rising Tide angels have participated in the Africa Angel Academy program. The purpose is for investors. First of all, the angel investors that we have at RTA, a number of them are not necessarily aware, because I know one of the questions is, are they born or are they bred? Well, sometimes you just have to train them to be able to become more aware of the opportunity. There's a level of enthusiasm amongst our female founders, but we've also realized that they lack a true understanding of the process and what is required in order to define, identify opportunities, go through the entire due diligence, and then also participate in ensuring their success. And a lot of them are seeking questions or seeking, how can we add value? And that's what education does. Education is to be able to ensure that they are successful as members of RTA on the side of the founders. They're successful, on the side as an investor, they're successful, are able to add value. A number of the players, members at RTA, are senior leaders in their own sphere and their own space, from marketing to legal to finance, and for them to be able to identify where they can plug in their expertise in ensuring that the due diligence process is as effective, and to also ensure that subsequently, when investments are made, these founders can have the level of success that is required. And that's what the education that we provide for our angels, and in partnership with Africa Angel Academy, to ensure that the ecosystem is robust. Now, we also provide training on the side of the founders, but I will mention that afterwards, or bring up more information about that afterwards.
Thank you, Chinwe. Good to know we have educators at work. So similarly, Alexandra, you're similarly playing a role in education. I'd love to know about how you could add on to what Chinwe said, or tell us how you think the work you're doing is important to the angel investment ecosystem.
Thanks. I think there is a wealth of experience across the continent, and there's also a wealth of knowledge which we really as a community need to come together to share. No, I'm a firm believer of no one can be an expert in everything, and it is amazing how much you learn just listening to others' deal stories, approaches to an investment. I come actually from venture capitals, the venture capital space originally, and spend a lot of time in the world of investing. But angel investment is very different, and there are also so many new tools and pieces of legislation and opportunities. So the landscape is also changing quite quickly. And by having a community which you can kind of have these discussions with, when do you use a safe agreement? Is a safe agreement, everyone in Nigeria loves a safe, but, there's a lot of debate about it in Kenya, and it's got, some people love it in South Africa, others. So having those kind of debates and sharing experiences and different perspectives is really valuable. And, someone could be an expert in valuation, and another person could be an expert in deal structuring or some other aspect. But just coming together and sharing all this knowledge and sharing templates and sharing tools and resources, we can build a much stronger community.
Amazing. I really need to hurry up and learn what a safe agreement is, so I might be a student soon.
Let us know, Jermaine.
Really quickly, before we move on, Chinwe and Alexandra, I'd like to just get some examples of specific stats and outcomes you both managed to achieve. So we can start with Chinwe. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a brief overview of the type of things you've achieved so far. I believe you're on mute, Chinwe.
So what we've sought to do currently, we've hosted a series of education training with our angel investors. And what we've done is every quarter, we have an internal system, internal training that we run with our angel investors to introduce them to exactly what angel investing is. It's almost like an angel investing 101. And right now we're at almost 70 to 80 members, and I'll say over half of those have actually gone through, because we felt it's so important that as anyone comes in, they begin to understand where they can add value. Because it's one thing to just drop your money, but we want you to do beyond just dropping financials. We would like you to provide your own expertise. And we believe all our players have expertise in one knowledge area, similar to what Alexandra was talking about. Knowledge sharing is key. And we talk about that not just through the education training. So for example, we're having a partnership networking event. I think it's next week. Unfortunately, I'm out of town, so I'm going to miss it. But we then use the opportunity to introduce, first of all, each person to have a chance to talk to one another. We're able to bring in some of our players, some of the companies that we've invested in to come in to talk. And then we talk, and we have a chance to talk about the individual pillars so that the network can understand what RTA is all about. Mentoring, for example, we've done several mentoring events, and the plan during the partnership event is to portray opportunities for our members to get engaged in the mentoring events, in education, in networking. And so other than a formal training that we go through with the angel investors, which is quarterly, we then also have these partnership events where we get together, as well as bring in other angel partners like Lagos Angel Network is a good close partner and friend of RTA family. And so we bring them and have a chance to dialogue and identify opportunities to work closer together.
Amazing. That sounds like a very well considered and well-rounded setup. And Alexandra, how about you? What highlights could you share with us?
Sure. So we launched the Academy, as I said, in mid-2020. So we're 18 months old. We've trained over 300 angel investors in 9 countries. We've expanded into, so at the moment, we've got cohorts going in DRC, Angola, we've got UK diaspora, South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya. So of Nigerian angel investors, we have trained 120 angels, thanks to our support from the UK Nigeria Tech Hub. 50% of those angels are women, which we're really proud of. And we have a 50% female participation rate in almost all our cohorts. And we're really trying to also make more investment opportunities for female-founded startups and get more women into the angel investment space. We've mentored 10 new angel groups, which I think is going to jump to 15 because we've got a whole new group of angels coming on and starting to set up groups, which is fantastic. We've put 30 startups in front of investors, and we are very pleased to tell you that we've got at least 4 Nigerian startups funded, and those checks are being written really quickly. So just to give you an idea, we had a showcase in January with 5 startups from Nigeria, and we had over 90 investors dialing in to kind of form syndicates and make investments. So that's the kind of traction we've got. And hopefully by the end of this year, we're hoping to hit our target of at least 500 angels by the end of this year. But if the Nigerian applications are anything to go by, we could train 500 Nigerian angels tomorrow. We've had an amazing response, and it becomes more and more difficult to kind of pick our Nigerian cohort. So fingers crossed, I hope to be running another Nigerian program later this year. And thanks to a lot of the audience who've also inquired through our booth. So thanks so much for that.
Great. I can second the notion that you're never going to have a pipeline problem if you're targeting Nigerians who are literally everywhere.
No, we love our Nigerian angels. They are so engaged, and we've also just, for those of you in the audience, please go and visit the African Angel Academy website. We've actually got 2 case studies on Paystack. So if you're wanting to learn more about the angel investment journey or even an entrepreneurial journey, go and look at the Paystack case study and have I'm sure you've all heard of Paystack and you've heard it was acquired by Stripe. So that's a really good example, and it's freely available on our website.
Great. Do go and check that out, everyone. So Joe, let's talk about HoaQ Club. How did HoaQ Club come about? How did you develop your thesis?
So HoaQ Club came about when myself and my partner Newbie, we were looking for an angel group to join to invest and back African founders. We couldn't find one that really fit our thesis. So what we were really looking for is like super early stage startups, very small checks, and also very low barrier to entry. And what we came across was, okay, yes, you can have access to the deals, but like the minimum check sizes were about $5,000 to $10,000, and the joining fees were anything from like $500 to $1,000. So we're like, well, I think this can be lower, and we, as much as we had, I don't know, 5 or 10,000, we wanted to invest a bit more so that we can spread our money across more than just one or two companies. So we got a group of friends together, like I think there was 17 of us, and we well brought €1,000 each. It was about $20,000, and then we wrote two checks. That was the start. That was in Q2 2020. We did it again in the summer of that year. We raised about $25,000. And then when Paystack got acquired in October 2020, a lot of people started reaching out to us, and they also want to get the extraordinary returns that angels got at Paystack. So so that's when we started thinking about how to properly structure a HoaQ and allow as many people as possible to actually get into angel investing. And what we want to build is the entry point into angel investing. We don't do any courses, but like we have a Slack where you can come in and just learn by watching other people interact. And a lot of folks in our community they have their own investment thesis, they write their own memos, and they do their own researches. So people who've never done any deal before, HoaQ is that entry point where you're not writing a large check, but like I'm gonna say, testing the waters and see, okay, is this for me? Is this not for me? So like I actually have somebody who is going through the African Angel Academy with Alexandra, and one thing he said to me was, I'm coming to HoaQ right after this, right? So and it's good to have the academy there that can train people that can come and do their first couple of deals with us. In terms of the thesis, we leverage what we know. So Luby and I, we were working at Stripe. We're now at Paystack, and we know and understand tech. So like we were very focused on tech and tech-enabled startups, and they have like African founders who are building for Africa or the diaspora. Actually, you don't have to be African or Black, right? As long as you're building for Africa or the African diaspora, and they have knowledge, technical expertise, or domain expertise or technical know-how, right? So they know the space really well, and they can build within that space. And obviously, they need to, the market has to be large enough. So those are the parameters of our investment thesis. But that's the HoaQ Club, and that's how we assess the deals that we bring to the community. Now, what I always recommend to investors is, what is your thesis? Where would you like to put your own money? And these are the things that you can learn from the various academies out there. And what we want to do is we bring as much deal flow as possible.
Great. I mean, your portfolio is amazing. Like I won't be surprised if we do see the next Paystack success come here. I have a question around your actual deal flow. It's very high quality, the portfolio companies. How do you actually source that deal flow? Are you using any kind of partnerships, collaborations to put these deals together? What's going on there?
Yeah, yes. So at the start, we didn't have a lot of deal flow. So we partnered with Future Africa, CC Hub, Rally Cap Ventures, and like Kickoff, which was just on this the call before us. So we leverage on those partnerships. I think our superpower back when we started was my partner Newbie, who used to be a founder in Nigeria and has a very wide network of folks, right? So he was able to leverage those relationships that he's had for quite a while, and got us into like some pretty good deals. As we scaled, our community is now becoming like our superpower. So like somebody comes across a deal, they want to put some money, and so they bring it to HoaQ so that we can at least meet that minimum check that the company requires. So yeah, like the community brings us a lot of deal. We get quite a lot of inbounds, which is quite interesting. And the fourth source of deal flow, and this is, I'm just realizing this now, is the founders that we previously backed, like, will bring you, like, I have this founder who sends me like at least one deal a week, because he's talking to like this person and that person.
Yes.
And like, founders are the greatest, like, deal flow pipeline. So don't ignore them, because they know the people who are leaving their company to build something else. They know the partners or the companies that they want to partner with. So yeah, founders are now becoming our source of deal flow.
That's amazing. I mean, yeah, it's amazing to hear so many founders are getting this funding using the different vehicles and alternative methods. I know diversity and representing underrepresented founder was a big focus on the ecosystem, and seems to be something a lot of people are putting effort into now. But we do have this question about the other side of the table, which is on the investor side. And I know, Chinwe, you're doing a lot of work there to bring more women onto the cap tables. I'd like to find out a bit more about the challenges in doing that, and the opportunities that will present themselves if you're able to successfully increase diversity on the other side of the table there.
Sure. So in preparing that, I spent some time just doing some research, because it's one thing to talk about the fact that something we're all aware, which is the number of female founders who have access to funding is quite limited compared to the amount of funding in there. So I was recently looking at the Bloomberg research. It has shown that out of 58% of entrepreneurs that exist in Africa, for the funding pool of about $3 to $5 billion that is now available for Africa funding, female-led founders represent between 1% to 3% only. And the reasons, and different reasons have been given for that. And this is in spite of the fact that some studies, like a BCG recent study, has shown that female founders are actually as successful, even more successful, and are able to get subsequent funding in subsequent rounding, which is a success indicator. So why is this the case? Studies from IFC, Harvard have said things like gender bias. Gender bias is that see female ventures as more riskier, or the way females are judged doing pitching, their access to networks, their access to role models. And that is one of the reasons RTA has been designed to focus on the female founders, as we have. And what we've sought to do particularly is educating. So we've talked about educating angels, but we're actually working very actively in educating founders. And one of the things we're looking to launch in the next couple of weeks, maybe in a month, we've been working on this for the past almost 2 years throughout COVID. We're looking to launch our RTA Entrepreneurship 101 Accelerator Program. And it's going to be a 5-week, 25-session program focused on building the 3 key deliverables that we've seen that that investors are looking at during pitch. And that is your business plan, your pitch deck, and a good understanding of your financial statement. And the purpose of this is to increase the number of deals that are presented and make it through the RTA deal day. By increasing the number of deals, increasing the number of founders that can actually be successful in presenting and getting funding from investors, then we believe we can add to that ecosystem and then add them to the remaining pillars of RTA in terms of providing networking, mentorship, support, partnership to ensure that they're successful. So that's something that we've actually chosen actively to do. And like I said, the soft launch should be sometime in March or early April, with a hard launch in the next couple of weeks after that, once we get the kinks out. We're really now focusing on increasing deal flow by helping founders do a better job in pitch work to investors.
Amazing. Moving on to Alexandra, the African Angel Academy, which is funded by the UK Nigeria Tech Hub. What are the core takeaways investors participating in the academy get from this academy? How do they separate themselves when they come out on the other side? What gives them that accelerated understanding of investing?
Thanks, Jermaine. I think it's a few things. The first is they have access to all the knowledge in one place. So there is a lot of amazing knowledge and presentations available, and I would also strongly encourage anyone who's interested in angel investing to, subscribe to some of the amazing newsletters coming out, like for instance, The Big Deal, which comes out with lots of amazing stats on the African funding landscape. But the African Angel Academy really just puts all the resources and all the tools and all the templates in one place. It also provides you with access to a community. And I think, just like HoaQ, rising tides, what we're seeing is that angels are wanting to collaborate. They're wanting to invest together. And by building your community and building your network, you can then have access to, first of all, a lot more deals and a much bigger angel community. And so I think that is also critical. And then also this ongoing support. It's not just about networking, but it's around being able to engage around topics that as they arise, around new pieces of legislation, around various startup acts, for instance, that are coming out. So it's really about being able to continually educate yourself and stay up to date with what's happening in the ecosystem. And then, just to echo what Rising Tides is saying, beyond the African Angel Academy, we do a lot of work at my business with Viridian, and we've also got a product which is called Investable, which is literally taking entrepreneurs through almost the mirror image of African Angel Academy, so they really understand also the entire investment process, which I think is really needed. So that's fantastic that Rising Tide is doing that too.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. So I have so much I want to talk about, but we do have to start wrapping up. So I'm going to finish off with some final questions for the whole panel. I'll start with Joe. When people want to angel invest, HoaQ Club is one of the first things that come up. And I'm sure you have a lot of advice you've given and are yet to give to those individual investors. So I just want to ask, if you had one piece of advice, you'd give to someone who's considering becoming an angel investor and wanting to write a first check, what first steps would they take, or what should they be on the lookout for?
Well, learn first, and then write your thesis. What's my thesis? Where do I want to put my money? And test the market, test the waters, with small check. And the thing with angel investing is super risky, which means that you must be comfortable losing the money that you invest. So don't forget that. But when it does work out, then the upside is usually very good. So I'll keep it simple there.
Great advice. Learn, everyone. We have educators on the panel. And Chinwe, what about yourself?
Completely agree with Joe. And the second thing I'll say is partner. You don't need to go in alone. And that's what I love about RTA, Africa Angel Academy, perhaps HoaQ. All these platforms exist. And it's a wonderful way to learn and reduce your risk of exposure. By partnering and being very active in these organizations, you allow yourself to learn quickly. You accelerate the amount of learning you get. You reduce your risk. You can add value, and you can have an impact. So I would definitely say look for a wonderful platform to partner with and be active in learning and forming networks in order to become much more, create a greater level of knowledge about the environment and the ecosystem.
That's some great advice, Chinwe. And finally, yourself, Alexandra.
Thanks. So just to build on what Joe and Chinwe have said, don't forget that everyone was a first-time angel once. So we've all been there, we've all done that, we've all made some terrible mistakes, and we've all learned. So I think what my advice is that the angel community is actually very welcoming, and it's okay to say, this is my first deal and I'm here to learn, and please, any advice or guidance you give would be great, and people are generally very willing to help. And then I'd also just say, go and have a look at the African Angel Academy. There are lots of resources on the site as well. We've also got a great YouTube channel. So if you're wanting to buy the course, you can actually buy the course and go through the self-paced program, but also sign up for the newsletter, because we are hoping to have many more cohorts. And if you sign up to the newsletter, then you'll also get notified around when applications are open. So that should hopefully be coming soon.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. So what I'm really taking from this is learn together and invest together. And that's one of the things that are most exciting to me about the ecosystem. It seems very collaborative, very community-based. I think, you know, we're all leading the way in that sense. So thank you to the panelists, Joe, Alexandra, Chinwe. It's been amazing. I wish we could speak for longer, but alas, we have to stick to the times. Thank you again to the audience. Please do check out HoaQ Club, Rising Tide Africa, and African Angel Academy. And I'll hand over to Anthony.